Hey, good morning guys. So I'm just hanging out in the RV here at North Shore Beach, and we just got done with a little dawn session here and my home spot. So we've been home for a week now, and we were out in Hood River filming with Chris Bobbick, Ty Kowalski, and we were just filming some kite park stuff and working on some new tutorials for you guys. Anyway, point being of this video, I wanted to do a review on my favorite boots in kiteboarding. So if you've been following the channel for a while, I'm sure you probably noticed the last few months that I've been booted up with the Vadatek. So I am going to go over why I love these boots, why I think they are the best boots in kiteboarding, and just share my honestly super biased review with you. So let's get to it. Alright, so we're just getting home here, and we're gonna run through this review of the Vadatek actually in my yard here. I think we'll post up in the hammock here and take it easy and just run through some things. But let's get the board. Alright guys, so this is going to be a little bit of a biased review, as this is something that I am stoked on, but I will make a point to hit some of the drawbacks and things for you to consider if you are thinking of getting into these boots. So first things first, one thing that I really appreciate about Vadatek is they are a smaller company, so it's not a major brand, a large corporation. It's a family-owned business, and there's a lot of, you know, a lot of love that went into the design of these boots. Like, looking at them, you would have no idea that this wasn't a very large company. So no detail was overlooked with the design and build of these boots. So that is something that I really appreciate about this. This is somebody's blood, sweat, and tears right here. Somebody who really cares about making a quality product. And honestly, he's done an incredible job kind of getting into the kite and the wake market, and he really has something special and new. So first things first is it is a step-in system. So there's a toe cap, pretty similar to snowboarding, and you can just pull the boot out like this, and it's actually just held in place by this little piece right here, and that just locks in there. And what's really cool about this is a lot of times in kiteboarding, shops are usually hesitant to set newer riders up with boots because you have the logistics of getting strapped in and trying to fly the kite at the same time, whereas with foot straps you can kind of just kick your feet in. So with these, right out of the gate, that solves the problem. You can set the toe cap where you want it and then just step right into the boot, and then you're off. So that's really nice. And to get out of them, it's as easy as just pulling the strap back right here and stepping out. So kind of a one-step process there to get in and out of the boots. So really easy. And on top of that, you have a boot to walk in. So I find myself on a lot of different beaches. They're not always sandy. Sometimes they're rocky, sometimes they're really slimy and muddy. Other times they're snowy, so I've even used these in the winter, and what I'll do is I'll actually wear some wool socks, and then just that, I find that to actually be warm enough in most conditions. Once it kind of gets below the 30-degree mark, that gets a little bit cold, but like 30 to 50, kind of early spring days, I find that the wool socks do work really well. There's some neoprene socks inside the boots, but just having something to walk on, depending on what your beach looks like. I know a lot of places will have rocks under the water, or clamshells, or whatever you might be dealing with. Maybe it's grass and you're launching from something kind of like my yard here. I've seen some spots in like the metro area in Detroit where they don't have like a sandy beach to launch from. So if you're in one of those spots, having boots to walk in is something that I'm getting used to, and I don't know if I can go back to not having them now at this point. It's just really nice not stepping on things and just kind of being able to step in the bindings and go. So one big thing here is the build quality. So these boots, I've been riding them hard now for about 8 months exactly. I got them in January. I was riding them in some cable parks in Florida before quarantine, and then since quarantine I have been hitting it hard on my local beaches, going out in the cold, going in the snow, and just recently in Hood River where it's nothing but rocks. And I have found them to really stand up. So you can see, like, I mean, they're a little bit dirty right now, but beyond that, they really do look new. If I were to rinse this boot off, it still looks like a new boot. So they've really stood the test of time there. So something else really quick that I do like about them, and this has actually kind of been, for lack of a better word, a game changer for me, and that is that on a hard impact, on a hard edge catch, the toe cap actually will release the boot. And I know that might sound scary, but you have to be like full send, edge catch, you're going down, you're about to have a headache when you come out of the water for this to happen. And what happens is, every time I've caught my edge kiting, every time I've caught my edge at the cable park, the kite park, whatever it is, that toe cap releases and the fall becomes super mellow. I fall into the water almost exactly like I would if I were wearing foot straps. So they pretty much all but eliminated those hard edge catches, and I don't know if it's possible that they might not release. I have not had it happen to me yet. Every time I've caught an edge, the impact has been super mellow, and honestly it's starting to make me feel really inspired to try bigger and harder tricks because I'm not worried about getting a headache and crashing into the water. So that's been a really big confidence builder for me. And not that I would, not that you would need that, like you certainly don't need a boot that's going to release to try things, but it is a nice thing to have. And on to that point of stability, I have been using these at the cable, and I do find that I'm doing a lot more spinning at the cable because I'm not dealing with wind, I'm not waiting for conditions to line up. So I use these daily, almost every day after work. So they have had a lot of time at the cable park, hitting rails, a lot of conditions where I just really need to trust my boot to not fall apart on me, to not come undone, to not have screws fall out, things like that. And to that end, these have been used, I would say, about 5 times a day for the last few months now. So I really am getting my use out of these, and they are holding up. No issues thus far with presses, with spins, with edge catches, any of that. These things are really, really durable boots. And you probably can't see, but even on the inside here, after about 8 months of hard use, even the inside still looks like new. There's a little bit of wear in here finally, but all in all, I mean, they are standing up to the test of time. So that is something that I have been really impressed with these boots. So some other points to talk about is traveling. So when I'm loading up some cars and things like that, just having just this base here, it's really nice because I can actually fit a couple of boards in my car, or even in the RV here. Sometimes I run out of room with all the demo gear and things between myself and my girlfriend. It's just nice to be able to stack some boards on this, and that makes a huge difference for me. So that is something that I really like. Kind of getting down to the nitty and gritty, I guess we can jump into some of the cons. And not that they're really a con, but I mean, compared to a regular kiteboarding boot, which would basically just be this bolted onto the board, there are more parts. So there is more room for error, for things to break. And like I said, these have held up for 8 months for me, no problems. But you can see they're a lot like snowboard bindings. So my guess is it's kind of the same thing. Like, wouldn't hurt to have some spare parts on hand, have some extra hardware, things like that. But otherwise, they're super durable, but there are more parts. So that is one thing to consider, is there are more moving parts on this as opposed to just some regular boots that are bolted right to your board with nothing extra. Back to the boots, they are super lightweight. They are flexible. So I guess on the scale of boots, because I know some people like really stiff boots and some people like to have really flexible boots, I would say these are kind of hitting the sweet spot for kiteboarding. So they're just flexible enough for me to get some grabs in, but feel some support, as opposed to something like the Slingshot Rads, which are basically indestructible. You're never going to break those boots in. I guess they're maybe not a far cry from the LFKs. One thing though, I guess, that I have noticed is they're not quite as stiff like through here as maybe some of the more heavy duty boots. And again, this is kind of on par with maybe like Cabrina boots or the Good Force boots or anything of that nature. They're just not as rigid right through here. So in summary here, yeah, these are my favorite boots. I personally think these are the best boots that I've come across in the industry thus far. And I am really stoked on them. Maybe they're not for everybody. Maybe not everybody wants a step-in boot or anything like that. but they are rock solid. They have taken a beating. There's a ton of advantages to them. And frankly, I'm just really stoked on them. And as long as the shop is going to carry them, I'm going to ride them as long as I can. So if you have any questions that I might have missed in this video, let me know in the comments, and I'd be happy to share whatever further insights I might have on them. And if you guys found this video helpful, please give it a thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe, and we'll catch you next time.